Hello, everybody. It's me, Jerry Porter. I wanted to let our listeners know that we originally planned to have a professional kid whipper on today's show. But only one person answered the Craigslist ad, and they wanted me to wear diapers. So without further ado, Plan B.
Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones, Indiana It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones, Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast where we get to the heart of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Von Bluto Mummert.
I'm Jerry Porter.
And joining us today is our friend Rudra Banerji. Welcome, Rudra.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We're in a mine filled with kids. And we're sad about it, and we wanted company. And we thought we'd drag you in here with us.
Oh, yeah, this is where I'd like to spend my free time.
Yeah, perfect. Well, this is minute 71, as everyone knows, and minute 71 begins with men whipping slave children, and it ends with slave children slaving in a slave mine. It's all slaves, all up and down, kids and sadness and sorrow.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Tom.
Oh,
the
sure.
Introduction, because minute 71 is my favorite minute of the movie. Primarily because we're whipping children.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're so annoying. You finally get to whip them or see them.
And boy, do they show whipping children. I mean, they don't, make no bones about it. They just whip the kids.
Yeah, they kind of go for it.
Yeah, they do.
I'm curious, actually, like if this had anything to do with the PG-13 imbroglio, or if it was strictly like hearts getting ripped out and stuff.
Well, I mean, what's so nice is you could choose many scenes that would be the PG-13 rating there.
And you made that beautiful sound, which is our introduction to our old friend Otto von Bluto in his reincarnated form as he shows up here. Pat Roach.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is a great first shot. The camera kind of pans in and you see his red beard. And his features are definitely European.
Yeah.
And I wonder, is he like a former colonial administrator who converted?
Could be. Or he escaped some British penal colony or something. And
Either that or he was just like, he worked in the office and he would see these guys walking by every once in a while. Those guys look kind of cool. And he joined the cult, and like he probably still writes long, florid letters back to his mom at home, and she's sad he's not in the Anglican church anymore. But
I miss home, but I never get to whip kids. I get to whip kids all the time here.
I feel like you could make an entire Hearts of Darkness Apocalypse Now about that story that you just told.
Yeah, they should.
Ripped out Hearts of Darkness.
He's gone native.
Yeah.
That whole concept.
Well, and there's a piece of evidence that would support that is the only thing I was able to find a translation for in these few minutes coming up is he says repeatedly, Jaldi, Karo, which means hurry up in Hindi.
Oh,
okay.
And he'll say that several times. But it's funny because he prefaces it by saying manja. It sounds like manja. And that has me thinking about, we had Mola Ram singing Bud Eat Gelato, and we had Indy saying Andiamo, and I'm wondering if this is just like like they knew about Indy like trying to speak the native language and he's speaking Italian just because that's all he can think of, and they're just all kind of playing him. They're all making fun of him now.
It's kind of comforting knowing that we could make any goofball, way off base comment about languages or religions or cultures because the movie has already done worse, and we're just sort of commenting on it. We can say whatever we want, not offend anybody.
Well, I think that's been my favorite part about this movie's kind of where it is now in pop culture is just that, like being a kid, what this movie is like, everyone was like, would make fun of, you're Indian and there's this movie that's like, oh, now I know about being Indian. And now everyone recognizes it as being like, that's not what being Indian is. That's not what India is like. So it's great because it's like totally made up. And so we can enjoy making fun of this because you're like, this is like, what is this? You know, it's like if there was someone who made a movie about Mars, you're like, I don't know what Mars is like. Sure, grow potatoes there.
So, like, when you were a kid, did you have to, like, tell people, like, no, we do not eat monkey brains. We don't live in mines. We're, you know, they don't rip our hearts out.
Yeah, 100%. And movies like this and, like, Apu were, like, was like the cultural touchstones for what people assumed Indians were. And like my older brother, who's 7 years older than me, got to enjoy that because he was 10 when this movie came out. Okay. So it's like this, and then also had already lived through like the Iran hostage crisis. So it was like you just kind of caught it coming and going. You're like, oh, you took American hostages. Oh, and just for like an extra, you also rip hearts out of people's chests.
Yeah, kidnap children.
Explain yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so like that was a weird. Yeah, there was definitely monkey brains jokes and stuff that were like for like the kids who were like remember when I got to like first or second grade, someone made a reference to that because like their older brother or sister had seen the movie and like they'd been watching it. You know. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what Rudra's family must be like.
Oh my God.
It wasn't helped because then one of my friends who was Indian in our class, his mom brought brains and hearts and lungs to class because she's a physician.
Oh wow.
That we could like touch. She's a forensic pathologist and she does it. I'm like, this is not helping.
Yeah, I was like, don't eat it, Rudra.
Yeah, we got this out of the refrigerator.
It's just for looking. Kids are the worst. You know what? Now that you told that story, I'm glad I'm seeing all these kids getting whipped because they would probably make fun of other kids in their class or something.
Kids are the worst.
Every one of these kids deserves it for something. Nobody's innocent.
Well, Pete, you mentioned, Pat Roach here, and we've talked a lot about syncretism with the Temple of Doom, and how they like to borrow from different religions. And I'm wondering, correct me, Pete, maybe Rudra, Tom, you're not going to know the answer.
I'm reading my phone. It's okay.
But is the Pat Roach head kid whipper possibly Sikh?
What makes you say that?
I don't know. I mean, he's wearing. I guess he has sort of like the head scarf or the head dressing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the turban, and he just. I don't know. It crossed my mind.
So maybe it's like an ecumenical Temple of Doom.
That's what I'm saying. I'm starting to think this might be like sort of like the Unitarian Church. Or something.
I was going to say.
They borrow from everybody. Yeah.
Maybe he still is Anglican.
He may.
Yeah, maybe.
His mom's not that upset. She still darns him socks and sends him.
Yeah.
And
sends some Easter presents and stuff.
Right, exactly. I don't know. And I think there may even be some more religious gumbo that they kind of throw together later on in some of these other minutes. They this Temple of Doom just borrows a lot of different ideas or things from different religions. We'll just stack them up here.
They're trying to find the best around the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Should cut them some slack. They're just trying to take over the world for good.
They got, you know what? I mean, these thuggies have quite a little lemonade stand going on. Like, you know what I mean? As far as 8-year-olds, like they show that view of what's going. He looks down the hole, and then they kind of pan out a little bit, and you see everything, and you're like, "This is adorable."
Look at them go!
Exactly. They're working so diligently.
It's industrious little worker bees. Look at them go.
Exactly.
Have you ever stopped at that casino, like when you're on your way from LA to Vegas, and it's the first big casino you come to when you get into Nevada?
Oh, it's Prim, isn't it?
Yeah, in Prim.
Or Gene. Maybe it's Gene.
It's one of those. And it's inside, it looks exactly like the Temple of Doom. Like they've got everything's like the fake rocks and the fake cave, and they have like a big cauldron up on the wall. And
oh my God.
Like this looks like a casino inside. So it just seems like kind of a fun place.
It totally does. I love it. At second 9, we see the only thuggee who has his moral compass intact. That one guy is just whipping a steel block. And he's just looking busy while the boss walks past, and he's thinking, I don't know how I got here. I mean, that little pamphlet promised fellowship and a fun rainy season retreat, and now I'm like a kid whipping deacon.
I gotta act mad at this anvil.
Yeah, he's just, and he yells something, and he just whips
Faster.
a steel block.
I remember about Pat Roach. I remember when I found out as a kid that was the same guy as Otto von Bluto and Raiders, and I like, even looking at him now, he does not look a thing like Pat Roach. Like, he doesn't look at all like the same guy. It's really impressive. And and I couldn't. I was like, really? Like, no one's going to believe me at the sleepover when I insist that I read this in the magazine and that it's a real thing. But I'm going to stick with it.
The thing is, though, so when I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, that's a white guy. But the weird thing is, I have an uncle who looks like him.
Oh wow!
So it's weird. It's like, oh, I could buy it. I mean, sure, it's blackface and that's insulting as hell. But it's like,
Sure.
it's like, oh no, that Indian people look like this, like this guy, like the hairy arms and the nose and even the reddish beard. Actually, maybe he gets out in the sun a lot because my hair will turn red, a little reddish
really?
in the sun.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I find that hard to believe just because of the location in this minute.
That he's getting a lot of sun.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know
He
if
just
he's
came back
getting...
from R&R. He's like super angry now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to go back and get some vitamin D.
Oh, this place again. It's like I
Well,
never
I mean,
left.
But he seems to take a certain joy in the beatings, the whippings. So I'm just saying, I'm not trying to debate you, Rudra. I'm just saying I think he might dye his beard, his hair. He just might dye it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's just some production design.
Sure.
They just want to. I mean, everyone wants to color coordinate with their sash.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to look good in his, like, introduction shot, his hero shot, if you will. He wants it to be as bold and striking as possible.
It matches the entire office.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're really on about red in this place.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push the red as much as I can.
I do, as we progress through the minute, I think we find out why Pat Roach, head kid whipper, is wearing a fat turban. And, if someone throws a rock at him, it protects his head.
Badoing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He barely even notices.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fashionable helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in a hard hat area.
Yeah, I mean, if they're smart, they do have hard hats under there. Fashion first, but safety immediately thereafter.
It's like Indy throws the rock, and it hits his turban, and kind of goes poof.
Yeah.
It does.
And he's at least 30 feet above him. So that rock is really moving by the time it hits his head, and it's jagged. I mean, he's either got a metal plate like Willie in his head, or he's got like a hard hat under the turban.
I gotta say, I really, really find Indy's rock throw very endearing right here. Because it goes to like the whole, like, he's making it up as he goes. Like, he does not have a plan. He should know that he's about to get in deep trouble for throwing a rock at this guy. He's got no exit strategy or anything. But B, like, there's no way he's not going to throw a rock at that guy as he's witnessing him whipping a kid who's like prone on the ground. He's got to do something. And it's cool that he does something. It's cool that he chucks a rock at this mountainous guy who almost killed him in Cairo. He just chucks a rock at him, knowing that, he immediately gets captured and in trouble. But it's like, I had to throw a rock at that guy. He just beat up a kid. What was I going to do?
It's kind of like a David and Goliath thing, but it sucked.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't work.
Well. Yeah.
He just hits him in the head, and Goliath is like, eh.
All right. I guess we're doing this now.
I mean, it's a great. I think there's like a bunch of stuff that's really great about that moment. I mean, it's funny because we didn't really talk about this, beforehand or anything. That this minute to me in the movie, like even as a prequel of like who Indy is and him becoming, is like, I don't know. It's really important. I'm sorry. This is like my philosophy of Temple of Doom. You could stop me at any moment.
No. Go ahead. Go nuts.
I think that like for all of the problems this movie caused me as a kid, I like really love it because I think like this moment is like Indiana Jones becoming the guy who does the right thing. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish here. I really, other than just to stop that guy from beating that kid, but he's like, I'll do it. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's like what I want from a hero.
Uh-huh.
Because then the guy's like impervious.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because he had this moment, like, you know, a couple, like, I think at the last minute, like he's got the stones in his little, you know, man purse, and he's about to leave, but then he hears the kids screaming and stuff, and he looks around, and he has like this moment that they kind of linger on, where he's like, oh yeah, I'm in a Temple of Doom or something. I should go see what's going on. And yeah, then he comes in here and sees this, and he's like, oh, I guess maybe I'm this kind of hero. Maybe I'm here to like do something more than just steal rocks. Maybe I'm here to help people.
Well, I love why you brought that up, Rudra, because pretty much every minute of this movie so far, we've asked that question: what is Indy trying to accomplish here? And it always comes out with sort of a answer.
Yeah. Well, the movie's been very confusing about it. The screenplay and the way everything's been handled has been very back and forth and confusing about, like, is he a hero because he's going after kids? Is he a hero or is he like a dastardly, you know, bum because he's only going after fortune and glory? Like, it's very muddy. But like here, it's I agree. It's starting to come into focus a little bit.
Well, and that's what's nice. I just like how you stated it. You're like, but he just did the right thing. We don't know what he's trying to accomplish, but he did the right thing.
Yeah.
If you see a kid getting hit, you throw a rock.
Let's be clear, that kid gets whipped not once, but twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today, like this, you know, who knows what yesterday was like.
Yeah, yeah, this morning.
Yeah.
It is interesting, though, because it takes him a minute to throw the rock. Like, he lets the kid get whipped a second time before he finally makes the decision. Like, he thinks about it for a minute.
It's like, well, he may have deserved one, but no, not two. Come on, stop it.
Yeah.
Being sick.
Well, and I guess it's safe to say that it's like, what, 1 a.m. now? Maybe 12:30?
Maybe 1.
Oh, at least,
1:30.
yeah.
So do you think, like, is this the night shift? Is this the, pardon the pun, but is this the skeleton crew for the mine? You know, I mean, the whole
I guess it
place
must
is bedecked in skulls.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they have a little skeleton crew, like an inside work mine joke.
Yeah. I like it. I got it.
Yeah, I think it's third. Yeah, it's third shift.
We're
I'm
laughing.
cool with that.
Well, right after that, he repeats his hurry up, his Jaldi Karo. And it makes me wonder if that's like either he just has really poor language skills and that's all the only phrase he learned,
And he can just point.
or if that's like his catchphrase and everyone's like, oh, do the catchphrase.
Does he actually, do we know if he says anything else in this movie? Maybe he's like the big, strong guy who's like almost mute and he can only say one thing.
Just say hurry up over and over.
Yeah. It's like Hodor. He just says hurry up all the time.
Well, he's not. I mean, is he ever going to have to? Is he ever going to need to know slow down?
Yeah. Yeah. Take it easy. You're working too hard.
Yeah.
Break time.
All he needs is hurry up.
I love you. Are you okay? He doesn't need any of those. He's good with hurry up. Yeah.
He's good with hurry up.
I think we know exactly what kind of lover he is.
Yeah.
Oh, these the guards in this place are really on point, at least so far. Like, he yells, you know, hey, get him, hurry up and stuff. And before even Indy turns around, there's like a team of them right behind him. Like almost as if they were like there before he even threw the rock or something.
Why do they wait to pull? It's funny because they wait until he turns around to pull their knives out in unison.
I think they practice that.
No, it's totally, yeah.
Yeah. It's what I like to call a choreographed unsheathing.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
It's effective.
Like, why did they have this choreographed unsheathing?
Well, you know why? These guys are sitting around in the break room and they're bored. Like, oh, dude, Carl, like, look, if we pull these knives out all at the same time, it's going to be awesome.
No, wait, do we do it on 3 or is it 1, 2, 3 and then we do it? Like, just...
Is there one guy who's late?
Oh, that's a good question. Is there a guy
Let's
who's
see.
late?
I'm wondering, are these guards part of the snake alarm? Like that Pete,
Yeah, that's a good
you know,
question.
brought to our attention. The snake alarm, are they like, okay, now we need to go up to, I don't know, that little hole that, you know, that's our station. When the snake alarm goes off, we go up to that little hole at the top of the mine. But,
Yeah.
or were, you know, did Pat Roach conjure them? That's what I'm wondering. Like, was it his hurry up that was, and all of a sudden the guards are like, yes, sir, and then they just appear? or were they sort of, are they part of the snake alarm? I don't know, because they're real fast.
How do they know which hurry up is for them?
Yeah, they're hearing
Right.
hurry up constently. Like, is it the kids? Is it okay? Well, just in case,
Yeah, we better.
coffee break's over.
It's like bird song. They just know.
Right? They can just filter it out.
Those knives are interesting though. They're like brass knuckles with a knife at the end of it.
Yeah, they're kind of holding them like the knife kind of comes from between their fingers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a stabbing dagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the style.
That's pretty cool. They're slick.
Yeah, but you couldn't use them as brass knuckles because then you just cut yourself.
Right. Yeah, you don't do the thing where you kind of like, punch your fist into your hand. You're like, I'm going to get, jeez.
Yeah, you only do
God,
it
what
once
did I
if you
do?
do. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be back. But yeah, they go back to the kids after Indy gets presumably captured, and you hear like the same exact, it seems like there's one kid who's yelling. Like it's the same like wailing that we heard when he was finding the rocks and stuff. And it's like, is it just like one kid who's
No, we talked about this. No, it's official. It's official. And I know exactly what you're talking about. It's second 57 of this minute. It is confirmed that the mine is piping in a shriek track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a shriek track or a
You might
weep
be right.
track.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that kid is identical. That scream or shriek is
Yeah.
identical to one that we heard like a few minutes back.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, not a single one of these kids is making a sound.
Maybe
Right.
this is a casino, and that's just like
Yeah.
ambient sound
It's like
they
they're
pipe
piped
in.
in. Yeah.
It's a soundtrack.
My
yeah.
gosh.
I feel like I'm in a real Temple of Doom.
I've heard of restaurants that do stuff like this. There's one in Chicago right
Which
now that does
part?
like a spy thing, as like a spy deal, and friends of ours went when it opened, and they said that there were gunshots would occasionally randomly fire, like be part of the ambient track of the place, and they were like,
Oh
"This
my
is
God.
literally the worst idea ever. How did anyone think that was a
Oh
good
my
idea?"
God. This is hysterical. I feel like I'm in a city where people get shot occasionally.
Jeez.
Do they have this at that casino you guys
yeah.
were talking about?
This is like their
Just a little low moaning and screaming.
Lots of extra sparks and smoke.
Yeah, like little animatronic kids with little croquet mallets, like hammering little tiny
Yeah,
rocks.
speaking of, I don't want to beat up on these kids. I know they're slaves and they're having a hard time and they're getting whipped and stuff, but they do seem like really sucky workers. They're like not putting their backs into it at all.
This plan is
Just going
terrible.
Tappa, tappa, tappa.
No, I like it because I like that the kids are holding it the way kids hold hammers the first time they hold hammers.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, like all the way
Yeah.
up at the by the head of the hammer. Like, of course.
Right.
What do you? Yeah.
This could be their very first shift, and like they're just getting used to it.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about how inefficient and stupid it is to have the kids as your labor, especially when you're looking for the remaining 2 stones, and then that's your key to world domination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be you're placing all of this on the backs of 8-year-olds.
Well, I think that's why they have to pipe in the scream noise, because otherwise all you're going to hear is a little tink, 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 tink.
Right. You guys working down there?
The weird thing is these guys get off and then they go play Mind Band, and it's just the tinkering. There's no screaming or other mine noises.
Yeah. They're actually practicing right now instead of digging. They're practicing the mind band.
At the end of the minute, we get our second red lightsaber-looking lens flare of the movie, and I think our third one of the saga.
Oh yeah, that tells you something, but I don't know what.
I don't know what either, but
Well, does that do it for this one? Do we have anything else for 71?
Oh wait,
Oh,
this just in from Professor Christy Porter.
how did I not know?
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
Is this a fortune cookie? What's going on?
I want to eat at the restaurant that has those fortune cookies.
Yeah, really.
It's a fortune cookie. It's a fortune cookie.
did Indy hit her with the rock when he
really.
missed Matt Roach? And,
She knows we're doing Temple of Doom, right?
No, I think she's saying that look, you don't throw the rock at Pat Roach.
All right.
Yeah. And Han Solo wouldn't throw a rock at Pat Roach.
That's true. Well, you know,
Yeah.
if Han Solo had his blaster, like we know that Indy doesn't have his revolver.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a good question. Would he have taken a shot at Pat Roach if he had his
Well,
gun?
why didn't he use he could have used the bullwhip, maybe? I don't know. Is it that? Maybe it's too far.
Might be too far, I think.
Yeah, it might be too far.
Did he bring the bullwhip with him? Because like he says, "Shorty, go get my stuff." But
Yeah,
did he...
he did. He totally has it because he just used
Yeah.
it to swing down to the
yeah.
rocks.
Oh right. Oh
Swung
yeah.
over
Sorry,
an
that's how he
elephant
got
trunk.
over there.
yeah.
Wait a minute. Where is his revolver?
He literally threw it out the car.
It's on the
yeah,
ground
yeah,
in
yeah,
Shanghai.
Yeah.
But he should have gotten. Well, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
He hasn't really had a chance to stop at the gun shop.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
Well, if that's it for 71, I think we should all come back next time. Rudra, thanks for joining us. You want to come back tomorrow?
Oh, that would be fun.
It would be fun because we're having fun so far.
Yeah, I think I can figure that out.
Awesome.
Excellent.
And if people want to, follow you or get in touch with you or bother you online, where could they do that?
Let's see. On Twitter, I'm at Rudra Banerji, RudraBanerji. That's me. Don't
Awesome.
bother me there.
Okay.
And Pete, where can people continue to bother us?
Well, the best place is come to our Facebook group, Indiana Jones Minute Listeners Crusade, and come tell us what you think Pat Roach is saying.
Yeah, it's a free-for-all. Who knows? And please, while you're deciphering that, please come back for minute 72 of Temple of Doom tomorrow here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Jaldi, Karo!
Hurry up!